who's the champ of foolish fame? Let's crown the buffoon of the week by name. Comic crown and a goofy streak. The title goes to our champ this week.
Class is back in session. Welcome back to Buffoonology 101. Gene Baradelli and Ross Galloway here with you, my best friend and mortal enemy for this show. Ross, what's going on, man?
Gene, the suspense is killing me. Where are we at last week?
I can just tell how excited you are. Well, let me tell you this, my friend. Last week was another record turnout for Buffoonology 101 for the battle between Elizabeth Warren and Nancy Mace. We had close to 100 votes counted. We had 97 votes counted. But in the end, Elizabeth Warren's buffoonery was just too strong for Nancy Mace. You did improve. You nearly broke 30%, pal. 72.2 for Warren, 27.8 for Mace. You should be proud of yourself, pal. You did so much better this time. But count another win for your boy right here.
So my people from the field told me when they went to go vote, the websites were not allowing them to vote. I don't know how true that is. I'm just throwing it out there.
Really? No. If there was a kink in that, you got to let me know.
All right.
But no, I take that seriously, because if that's true...
What I get, 30%? I think about 20% had a hard time voting.
Oh, boy. Well, by the way, you can always vote at buffoonoftheweek.com in our polls, and I think you need to turn off the your ad blocker to see the polls. That might have been it. You can also vote on X on my account at gbaradelli. We'll put that into the description below. And also as a comment on YouTube, either in the comments in the video or on the poll there, I happen to see a certain Ross Galloway voting in the comments on the video itself.
So I got one vote. All the other deleted comments, I'm guessing, were just
Deleted?
racist, sexist, homophobic, or pornographic.
Deleted comment? I would never. Although I will tell you, we do have our first documented account of someone voting early and voting often, as the rules state. And speaking of those rules, let's check those out now, and then I'm going to tell you this story. You're going to love it. Before the show, Ross and I have each selected our nominee to present to you for Buffoon of the Week. Each host will have 5 minutes to make their case to you as to why their nominee should earn your vote. The first 2 minutes will be uninterrupted by the other host, but after that, it's a free-for-all between the two discussing the nomination. The opposing host will then evaluate the nominee based on the criteria set forth in my award-winning best-selling book, Schnooks, Crooks, Lies, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons, available right now on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and other online bookstores.
This guy is a grifter!
The nominee will then be given a score for buffoonish nature and buffoonish action magnitude on our Sharpton Buffoonery Matrix. But more on that later. After that, we do it all over again for the other nominee. After all the nominees have been weighed and measured, each host will then have 1 minute to plead and beg for your vote for Buffoon of the Week. You'll get to vote online in the comments and on social media and at buffoonoftheweek.com. Vote early and vote often. No one's going to be counting whether you voted more than once. And now, back to the action. And I can tell you, Mr. Galloway, that we have our first documented instance of someone taking advantage of the vote early, vote often rule.
I thought at the end of those instructions, Gene, you said we were not going to check if anybody voted often.
And I didn't. This person came to me, said to me from the upstairs balcony in my house, "Hey, you see there was like 10 votes that came in for your choice, Uncle Gene?" And yeah, it didn't make up the difference, but it certainly did happen. But that's an example of things that can be done here at Buffoonology 101.
From Gene's balcony in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn.
No, I'm not there anymore, but it was from the balcony in the house. All right. enough shits and giggles. Let's get to this. Do you want to go first? I'm giving you the option.
I want to go with the trusty coin toss, if you will, sir.
Okay, so give me a second. All right. Yep, there it is. Okay, ready? Heads, I win. Tails, you lose. Yep, you go first again.
My man. I'm going to break your rules, Gene. Allow me to have my time, and I'll let you know when to start that clock. I'm going back in time. Start the clock for me. All right, people, if you will. The year was circa 2017, 2018, and a Democratic congressman introduces impeachment articles against Donald Trump. What are those articles, you might ask? Well, let's go back in time, shall we? Obstruction of justice and abuse of executive power. Usurpation of appropriations power. What else do they have here for 7 of them? Number 3, abuse of trade powers and international aggression. Number 4, violation of First Amendment rights to the media. Number 5, creation of an unlawful office. Number 6, bribery and corruption. Number 7, tyrannical overreach, seeking to consolidate unchecked power, erode civil liberties, and defy constitutional limits on presidential authority. Spoiler alert, the year was not 2017. The date was 2 days ago. And this Democratic congressman, a Timu Donald Trump, if you will, we're going to play that clip in a second, introduced 7 articles of impeachment against our hero, Donald J. Trump. This loser, by the way, used to own a business that did testing on dogs, beagles, actually, in New Jersey, a la Anthony Fauci, if you will. When that business went under, he let those beagles starve in their little encampment, and they had to be rescued by some volunteer workers. This guy is a true douchebag in every sense of the word, and he is trying to put 7 articles of impeachment against Donald J. Trump. I've begged with you, I've pleaded with you to not vote for Gene's nominee. If you don't vote for me this week, I've lost all faith in humanity.
What is his name? Tell us his name.
His name, I can't even pronounce it. I know his first name is Shri, S-H-R-I, Yabadabadu Thanedar, I believe is his last name, Thaneder, immigrant from India. Play the clip, Gene. Let's just let the people see what I'm talking about here.
All right, let's play the clip right now.
Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump. The court said the wrongfully deported Kilmer Garcia must be allowed to return and receive due process. Trump ignored it. He ignored the Constitution. He ignored the very checks and balances that keep our democracy intact. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a dangerous, deliberate pattern. That's why today I introduced a resolution to impeach Donald J. Trump, outlining 7 articles of impeachment. In this country, we have presidents, not kings. That's not just misconduct, it's impeachable misconduct. This isn't leadership, it's tyranny. If we let this stand, we are saying the president is above the law, that the United States Constitution is optional. I won't be silent, and I'm calling on all my colleagues, Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, to stand up with me. Enough is enough. Donald J. Trump must be impeached.
If I don't win this week, again, I've lost all faith in all of you. Just stop watching the show. Don't stop watching the show. Gene's going to kill me. He's probably going to cut this out. But Gene, good luck challenging this one. What do you got on this one?
This is a great pick. This is a phenomenal pick. I just don't know who the hell the guy is. It's one big thing that happened here. It's also the stupidest move I think a Democrat could make right now. Does Shri Thanedar think that this impeachment thing is going to go forward somehow? What is the end goal of this? What does he think he's doing here?
To tell you the truth, I tip my hat to the man, to be honest. I wish the Republicans had balls like this. Where were the articles of impeachment against Joe Biden? I've said this for like more than 4 years, right? We should have impeached him. The Democrats have no shame in their game. This guy's going to put articles of impeachment on the Florida House of Representatives when Republicans have majority in the House and majority in the Senate. There's literally zero chance that it even passes the House, unlike the last time they did this when Democrats got control of the House of Representatives, right? No shame in this game. I tip my hat to the Democrats. Republicans, take note. This is what you need to do.
So, Thanedar, as you said, born in India, right?
Tortured beagles, Gene. Yeah. Beagles.
Listen, you don't have to say that more to me. I owned a beagle. Believe me, I get that. I'm just trying to understand. Other than this, what is this guy's background as far as has he done other buffoonish things like this? Have you delved deeper into this?
No, other than torturing beagles, he's a first-term congressman from the state of Michigan. Another like buffoonish act, right? Donald Trump won all the swing states, including Michigan. So what is this guy's end game? I don't even understand what he's trying to do. And if you watch the clip, the guy's out in space. Like, he's clueless. It's absurd, Gene. There's no way I'm not winning this week. Good luck with whoever the hell you're going to nominate.
So in summary, your argument is this guy's dumb. He filed all his calls of impeachment. The buffoonery speaks for itself.
Well, in a relatively slow news week in the Donald Trump era, this guy takes the cake, without a doubt. I'm standing by it.
All right. And now, since Mr. Galloway has made his argument so eloquently for Shri Thanedar, let's talk about how we're going to evaluate this buffoon. And when it comes to this sort of buffoonology, doing this sort of work, it's all about the buns and the bams. Let's talk buns.
My buns!
No, not those. And definitely not those. I'm talking about our personal buffoonish nature. A decade of collective observations has shown that everyone, to some degree, has a bun. You, me, everybody. The size of their buns is directly related to a buffoon's propensity to do stupid things.
Look at the size of that thing.
And then there's bam, bam, bam. Buffoonish action magnitude. That's our measurement of how big a whoopsie a buffoon made. The bigger the mistake, the greater the magnitude. We then plug these values into our Sharpton buffoonery matrix, named for the alpha and omega of buffoonery, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Modern problems require modern solutions,
which is our visual representation of a buffoon's bum to bam ratio. And here's the best part. After we tally up the worst offenders, you decide. You get to cast your vote, share your thoughts, and you determine who earns the dubious distinction of Buffoon of the Week, which we'll record as the weeks go by. Okay, so I've had an opportunity to do a little bit of research on Congressman Thanedar, and the stuff I'm finding shows that this is the type of guy that bought his seat. I mean, he seems to have a lot of money, seems to have a story he wanted to tell, claims to be a chemist, a business owner, served in the Michigan State House before he was elected to Congress in 2022, and then reelected. He's going to be facing a primary challenge from the left because he sided against the progressive wing of the party when it came to what happened on October 7th, and he is a former member of the Democratic Socialists of America. So this is a millionaire that was a card-carrying member of the American version of the Socialist Party. Yeah, I'd say he's a pretty good buffoon there, Galloway. Not a bad pick at all.
Thank you, Mr. Burdell.
Here's my dilemma, though.
Right away from you, because I thought you were about to pick him, and I slipped it in first.
You know, I was close to doing it, and I think you texted me at like 5 a.m. just to make sure you got this one or something like that. I'm not
I was
sure.
watching Fox and Friends early morning edition, and I had to slip it in.
So here's my dilemma. This is a very big BAM, right? This is a Sharpton-esque BAM. We're in the Giga Sharptons on the BAM. But before I get to the BAM, I got to talk about the bun. How big is his bun? He's been on the national spotlight since 2022 when he won. I hadn't really heard his name mentioned until this whole thing with the impeachment. So where do I put the bun? Now, obviously, he's a member of Congress. It's 50 and above. That's the bare minimum for me right there. But I hadn't heard of the man before. So it's a bit of a dilemma. Because this is a Sharpton-esque opening salvo from him, I think he gets bumped up into the low 60s. I'm going 61. It's a great debut, I guess I'll say. It's a great introduction to this man. As far as the BAM, the buffoonish action magnitude here, like I said, this is blowing by Mega Sharptons into the Giga Sharpton range, and I'm putting it up there. This is so dumb. It's going nowhere. He's alienated the other side of the fringe of his party. He's now alienated more moderates by this move because it's a waste of time and money and energy. Yeah, he's definitely a BS buffoon, one of the more innocuous ones, because you can just point, laugh, and mock at this guy. But this is a pretty big debut. I'm going 67 and a quarter Giga Sharptons. What do you think about all that?
Fair. I will take it. Nobody ever heard of this guy until today, most likely. So the idea is a fair rating, Mr. Bird.
But listen, I mean, in comparison to what we've been talking about with like Letitia James sort of being like the high watermark on the BAM side at 100 Giga Sharptons, to compare it to that, it's just as stupid, but it has a little less of a national culture war impact. This is a diversion, right? This is a point and laugh at diversion, but is it a big diversion? And that's where I land here.
And I think we'll be seeing more of him before the end of the year show with Buffoon of the Year. We'll see. I just feel it's coming.
A content creator could only hope. You know, Gallo thinks he's got me. He made a great pick. I'm not going to deny it. Very funny pick from a very insignificant member of Congress. No one you ever heard of. Maybe you'll hear from him more later. Who the hell knows? But I know that everyone heard what happened this week with President Trump. I know that many of you tuned in to the interview with ABC News' Terry Moran. I know this because you found this little political channel right here, and you have a nose for political news. That's right, I'm buttering all of you up, and I'm calling you all smart out there because you are. And you will recognize that Terry Moran's hackery in that interview merits him being Buffoon of the Week. First, the national significance of it. Terry Moran, not anyone's first choice to do a national interview with Donald Trump. He's on display asking stupid question after stupid question after stupid question. You want a sample? Watch these clips.
You said the other day that you had a talk with the secretary. Did you take him to the woodshed?
I had a talk with him, and whatever I said, I probably wouldn't be inclined to tell you. But we had a good talk. He's a talented guy. He's young. He's smart, highly educated. And I think he's going to be a very good hopefully a great defense secretary, but he'll be a very good defense secretary.
You have 100% confidence in
I don't have 100% confidence in anything. Okay, anything. Do I have 100%? It's a stupid question. Look,
it's a pretty important position.
No. You don't have 100%. Only a liar would say I have 100% confidence. I don't have 100% confidence that we're going to finish this interview.
We will.
Let's go.
Do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across the stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. He said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not
Don't
have the
do that.
letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice.
And that doesn't even cover all the buffoonery. The man went at the king and missed. The man went at Donald Trump, thought he can gotcha the ultimate gotcha, and he fell short. And he did so on a national stage. He's been mocked on social media for days now for asking stupid questions about immigration, for asking stupid questions about the economy, for asking him about 100% confidence in Pete Hegseth, and also to say that the reputation of the United States has gone down since the weekend at Bernie's President Joe Biden was in charge. Are you freaking kidding me? What kind of logic does a reporter have to lack in order to do this? Donald Trump said it perfectly. This was your moment, pal. This is your time here on this national stage. You can prove yourself to be a serious journalist, asking hard-hitting questions that President Trump probably wouldn't have shied away from. Or you can just be another political hack and fall by the waysides of the Caitlin Collinses and, you know, all the other reporters I can't name right now because they're all irrelevant by now. Where's Chris Cuomo? He's gone. Where's Don Lemon? He's gone. Where's Jim Acosta? He's on Substack somewhere. Terry Moran is about to follow in the footsteps of those losers. That's why he's Buffoon of the Week. Gallo's just letting me talk here, which is kind of an interesting tactic.
No, I'm letting you dig deeper, Gene. Gene mentioned Donald. He's like the media, right? He mentioned Donald Trump's name like 10 times, thinking that's going to get him somewhere, right? So this week, we're riding Donald Trump's coattails. Here's a question to the viewers. Do you ever remember who Gene is talking about? No, because nobody ever heard of this guy. He's a loser. He's on ABC, which nobody watches. Gene just keeps saying Donald Trump, and hoping you guys are stupid enough to vote for him.
Hold on a minute here. Galloway was accusing me of being misogynistic and racist for weeks now. And I finally pick a white male who was on national television. And he's the one going after the person of color from Congress right now that nobody knows about. Picking on some nobody who trying to make a name for himself and just flopped on his face. I'm going after a national media figure, part of a network news coverage that's been out to get Donald Trump. Didn't Donald Trump sue ABC News? Yet here they come again. Terry Moran had his shot. He failed. And he was chosen by the Trump administration because Trump loves doing this to the media. Terry Moran tried to do what a hack does, create his own beautiful narrative, shade facts, try to avoid questions. The questions he was asking on immigration, he didn't even know immigration law, for God's sakes. And the thing about interpreting MS-13 symbology and the tattoos on this guy, Kilmar Abrego Garcia's hand, he totally beefed it there. I think this is a clear pick as far as magnitude of the reach of buffoonery. Yes, I'm sure that all of you heard about Shri Thanedar and his boondoggle here with impeachment and all the problems he's having. But when you compare that to the wall-to-wall coverage of this interview, the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and how bad Terry Moran did here, is there really a choice? I don't think there is. Galloway thought he had me? Sorry, pal. Congratulations. You played yourself. The real Buffoon of the Week this week is Terry Moran. And you know why it is? Because Ross Galloway, as always, has shown himself to be a cocky, duty, poopy head.
All right, Gene. Well played. Well played.
You say that every week, and every week I win. So keep on saying that, man.
I do. I mean, you went with a media hack. That's always a smart choice. Buffoonist nature. They come in, media people, they're Democrat hacks, all of them. They come in at 60 to start. Trump mopped the floor with them. He asked a lot of stupid questions. So I'm going to give you a 64 on the bun. Nobody ever heard of this guy, but he's well on track to being up there. We didn't rate him as high as the previous media people like Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews been out of the game. This is a current news guy. 64, I think, is fair.
I appreciate that. Listen, he's not the A team of ABC News. I dare say he's like the C team. So I'm happy with a 64. I'm happy with it because it's also higher than your pick. So thank you. Thank you for the intellectual honesty.
Now, as far as buffoonish magnitude, right? There's really nothing new here from this guy. If you picked a name out of a hat from the NBC hat of names, I'd expect an interview like this. So as far as the magnitude goes, this was classic Trump. I did the math. I'm just finishing up with the calculator, actually. You didn't break into gigasharp range for the magnitude.
What?
I'm being generous. It's just shy. It's 999.9 infinity mega sharpens, not giga. Sorry.
So you mean to tell me that the whoopsies we saw in this interview don't rate a gigasharpton?
You know me, Gene. I'm very generous. I always grade on a curve. But this one, the math doesn't lie. My phone almost shut off when I did this on the calculator. 999.9999999 mega.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm kind of okay with this because, as you said, there's nothing new under the sun here with Trump versus media, right? It's the classic battle between them that's been going on for nearly a decade now. I'm okay with it. I'll live with it. It's now time for our last minute pleading, begging, and possibly even bribing you to vote for our pick. He started us off, so Mr. Galloway, you start off with your plea. Go right ahead.
All right, people, listen to me. I begged with you. I've pleaded with you. I've tried nominating Democrats, media people. I've even nominated a Republican. Yet you choose not to vote for my person. So this week, I'm going to ask you to vote for me and my pick. Why? That's why. You need to vote for my person. Shri, however you fucking say his name, is a douche. If you don't want to vote for me because you don't like me, I get it. Do it for the Beagles. The guy put dogs in cages, lost his business, and abandoned the Beagles. Right? He's no better than Fauci, really. And I know you guys hate Fauci. And then lastly, again, go back to the video. Look at this guy. Just look at him. I know we shouldn't judge people by their looks, but I used the line earlier. Timu version of Rod Blagojevich, Donald Trump. The guy's like 7 years old with a full head of Indian black hair. Like, this guy's a clown. If I don't win this, there is no justice in this world. Gene, I throw it back to you, and I give you the rest of my time.
Well, I mean, you're giving me negative 8 seconds, but that's really cool of you. How can you vote for someone's nominee when I had to beg him to give us his name? You were watching 2.5 minutes into his spiel. Ross Galloway was giving you this grand expression of who this buffoon is, but didn't tell you who to vote for. I had to drag it out of him. He might as well be my nominee as well. I did just as much work for Galloway as he did for this nominee. But, folks, you can look at that face all you want. You know what the biggest story of the week was. It was Terry Moran and Donald Trump wiped the floor with that media hack. That's your true buffoon of the week. Go with the guy who knows what he's actually talking about with his buffoon, not the cocky duty poopy head who is wanting you to vote for Shri, whatever his name is. That ain't the way this works. Vote for Terry Moran for buffoon of the week. And that's how it's done.
Gene, when you put that picture up of my guy versus your guy, I'm going to win. There's no way. There's no way.
I'm not sure about that, but what I am sure of is that the polls are now open. Who you got, America? You going with Terry Moran? You going with Shri Thanedar? The polls are open, and you now get to tell us who you got for Buffoon of the Week. We had some good ones today, pal.
We have, Gene,
really good ones.
and I want you to keep this in. Gene went full swing, folks, from nominating nothing but women of color to picking on the white man. Good job, Gene. Welcome back.
Listen, I now know I have a secret weapon that will vote early and often for me that is actually in the house. So I'm liking my chances going forward here, man. I can't believe he did that.